Bum, 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 bum. The Peter Shit Show. Bum, 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 bum. Shit. One of the shittiest things that happened this past year was that Joe Biden signed some new laws about marriage equality, but he left out probably one of the biggest groups of sexual minorities from his bill, and just really frustrating. I want to talk about some experiences I've had going out on dates as a sexual minority. I had gone out to a restaurant in Rochester, New York on Valentine's Day 2011. My first time going out as a solo sexual on Valentine's Day. Gone to a Japanese steakhouse, and I had barely sat down when the waiter says, why don't you pay your bill now? You can take your time. And I really didn't want to cause conflict at the time. I had just found love, and this is a big problem of mine. I sometimes don't put my foot down just to avoid a confrontational situation. So I paid the bill up front, and I still had a good time, but it gave me a bad feeling. And the waiter had the audacity to ask me to fill out this card. I think he wanted to turn my table quickly because he figured it's one person, and a frugal one at that, and instead of two people just spending their life savings, right? And anyway, so he asked me to fill out the survey card, and I wrote down that the food was really nice, the service not so much. At the bottom of the survey card it says thank you, and I crossed out the thank and I wrote fuck, so it became fuck you. And I gave him back the card, and I left him a 5-cent tip. And I had just, if I remember correctly, I had just gotten done searching a bunch of rolls of pennies. I used to collect pennies made before 1982 that were solid copper, and I just left 5 of them on the table for him, and not copper ones, obviously. And just a bad first experience. Had I known how much prejudice I would face over the coming decades, at the workplace, out in life in general, in politics, that was a minor setback. Now looking back at it, right? Only getting bad service at a restaurant, but unfortunately, progress has been slow. I mean, there is a lot of progress. Going out on Valentine's Day this year is definitely very different from way back then. But still a lot to be done. So I want to organize a dating strike this Valentine's Day to show our disapproval for Joe Biden's use of the word couples in his bill. We want to raise equality for LGBTQ and interracial couples. What we need to do is raise equality for people who have all sorts of differences in love life, right? And that's why we need to get government out of marriage. That's what he should have wrote, right? That's somebody. If he had written that, I would have voted for him. As much as I hate some of his other policies, right? This is very important to me. Anyway, so this Valentine's Day, if you're not in a relationship today, don't get in one. Go out there Valentine's Day by yourself. And maybe they'll even have to rearrange their seating if more people do this, right? And it'll raise some awareness. So I can't wait to see a big organized strike where lots and lots of people go on solo sexual dates like that. Now, I spent one Valentine's Day in Canada. I had gone to Vancouver, BC to compete in a backgammon tournament the day before that, and I got pretty good service there. And the guy didn't laugh at me for explaining my love life, and that was good. They were very open-minded about that. I've had good experiences being solo sexual in Taiwan, in Japan. I spent a month living in Japan. I spent 3 months in Wallace, Idaho. I got accepted for who I was there, and to a lesser extent here in Phoenix as well. The worst places I've experienced being solosexual were in New York and Seattle. I'm not so sure about Rochester. That was long ago before people accepted differences in love life, right? I had an okay experience in Poland. People there still, you gotta understand, they're still developing, and over in Poland, people still need to have children to sustain their families, right? But even then, the idea of self-love is much more accepted over there. Just that people have an idea that they need to take care of their future they need to secure their future by having lots of children. That's still common over there, right? Anyways, enjoy Valentine's Day as a solosexual. Even if you're not solosexual, wait till after Valentine's Day to find that perfect somebody. Go out there Valentine's Day by yourself. Now yesterday, I work at a tutoring center. Yesterday, one of the kids mentioned that they were learning about etiquette, like how to eat various noisy foods and all that, which is great. But I was thinking to myself, God, if I had to pay attention to little details like that when I'm eating, it really detracts from the enjoyment of the food. I have eating disorders myself. I really need to get every little detail out of my food in order to control my good eating ways. And in fact, my long working hours haven't been really conducive to good eating habits. And I'm thinking to myself, God, why would I want to share my life with somebody only to add more constraint to my life? And I was so glad I was solosexual when I heard all that. Now, unfortunately, getting back to workplace drama, a lot of times my coworkers, when I was working at the university last year, one of my coworkers who had some child care issues had asked me to donate a bunch of my vacation time to her. I get a lot of office bums for some reason. I have one coworker now who constantly bums food from me. I bring in dark baking chocolate. She bums half the bar, and she bums organic sodas or non-alcoholic beer that I bring to the office. It's just frustrating more than anything else. And so I get a lot of office bums like that because people think that as a solosexual, I don't have all that much of a life. And to be honest, at first I kind of liked it because I had a coworker who shared my tastes. And let's be honest, a 20, 21-year-old girl at the office, she could have even worse intentions on me. All she wants to do is bum food. She thinks I love her. I don't. I know she doesn't love me, so that's great. It could have been worse. So at first I wasn't too upset about it. But now it's just become extremely frustrating. Well, whatever the situation is. When I was at the university, I had a coworker who bummed vacation time from me. And I'm thinking to myself, it's great that you're taking care of your family, but why does it have to come at the expense of me taking good care of my eating ways, right? It never made sense to me. You have a coworker, you own a business, you got one employee who needs to take time off for whatever issue, right? Family related, health related. Why does it come at the expense of somebody else taking care of their family or their health, right? It never made sense to me. This Valentine's Day, I hope if we get a few million people to go on solosexual dates, it might just click, right? This is the Peter Shitshow. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. The Peter Shitshow. Bum, 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 bum. Shit.